All right, we watched that. We're gonna watch Asmon racist, Asmon dirt, Asmold, As crack. So I think he got banned on Twitch for advocating for the shooting of children, which is a crazy take. First of all, I don't know how you arrived at that take, but let's get into why he's gone.
Hey guys, it's me again, and usually at this point I've already made like 2 or 3 other videos about why I got suspended on Twitch, and I've been farming this a lot, but unfortunately something that has nothing to do with Twitch at all actually took precedence over this, and that's why I haven't really made any comments or said anything on anywhere about any of this. And so first part of this video is going to be talking about that, and then the second part is going to be talking about the Twitch suspension. I got suspended for 2 weeks. I'll probably try to appeal it, see if I can get it down to a week. We don't really know. If not, maybe I'll stream on Kick or something. Maybe I'll just take a vacation. I'm not really sure. I haven't decided yet.
Great.
But
Thanks
anyway,
for the
that's
update,
the TLDR.
Asmongold.
So about 3 or 4 days ago, because the day that I got suspended, I actually didn't even go live. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the day before that, I had a health symptom that was identical to my dad's health symptom before he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So this, I got really upset. I was freaking out. And so I'm laying in bed. I'm fucking petrified. I'm
and he's
panicked.
dying.
I'm looking things up online. I'm messaging people. I eventually go to the emergency room and I go through all of this. And I don't want to get into the details of what the symptoms were or anything, because honestly, it's kind of gross.
I think I can kind of guess what the symptoms are. I'm assuming you're shitting blood is pancreatic cancer. I'm assuming that's not a great time. Something, maybe urine, I'm not sure. Probably your bowels, you're shitting blood. So yeah, rough time for Asmold. I don't know how this happens. It could be that you live like a cockroach for 40 years, but I don't know.
But all you need to know is that that's pretty much what happened. And so
cool, gotcha. But you're fine now, right? You're good.
Futon over there, and
right? Is he dying or is he good?
I wake up, and this is like the day I got suspended, and I had been like, at this point, I had not been on my computer at all in like 24 hours.
It's a crazy 24 hours for Asmongold.
All I can do is just lay down, and I didn't know, like, am I dying? Is there something wrong with me, right? And so I look at, and I see the reflection. Like, this is just stupid, but like I can see the reflection of this monitor from this monitor, and I can kind of see, like, are there new messages? And I saw that there was like a post about like a tweet, and I'm like, I just had a feeling that I was getting suspended, right? I just had a feeling, and I looked and I got suspended, and I was like, this is the first time I got on the computer. I'm like, well, how long is it? I said 14 days. I said, thank God. Right? Thank God. Now I'm gonna have 2 weeks to deal with this problem, right? So and honestly, that's the way that I felt. Like, I wasn't really even stressed out or upset about it. I'm still really not. I mean,
Bro's a millionaire. What do you mean? You can just take any time off any time.
But anyway, so all this happens, and I immediately just got off the computer. I didn't really think about it, honestly. So because I was so worried about this health problem, then fast forward to the following day, I talked to some couple of people that I know that I could ask about this, and I get one person. I go and I finally go to the emergency room after talking to one doctor, and they looked at everything. They basically said, calm down, retard, it's okay. And,
okay, good.
I'm okay, especially this morning. These symptoms have totally gone away. If you want me to be honest, like, just completely, like, 100%.
What do you have, some fucking Boldak fucking...
I'm still worried. I am. I'm 36 years old. I have had really no health problems ever in my entire life other than my teeth. And I see all my friends that are like, now they have this issue, now they have that issue. And it's like, when is it going to be time? My mom used to always say, and this would always upset me, but it's true, something's going to take you home, right? And it does really scare me a lot. And I, like, a lot of times I like to think
no
of
one can
myself
run
as
from
being,
death, buddy.
Above that, right? But
you like to think you're above
I realized that I was
being
very much
immortal.
below it. I was extremely scared. I was very upset, and I was really worried. And so I've been dealing with that for the past about 3 or 4 days, and now that it's at least partially resolved, I'm probably going to get a follow-up appointment and have, like, a bit more, like, testing done about this.
Okay, great.
To make sure that I'm okay. But otherwise, like, that's pretty much the reason why I didn't make any comments about it.
Is there anything breaking down, like where he talks
So
about him
preoccupied with
wanting to kill, murder children? I don't know.
Like, I just didn't really even give a fuck about Twitch, right? I mean, it's funny how, you can have something that's like, one of the biggest parts of your life, which is like my stream, and then like something else can happen, and it's like the other thing just doesn't even exist anymore, right? It's a very, very weird paradox of life. But anyway,
yes,
so that's pretty much what happened with me,
life.
a couple of days ago and a few days ago. That's why I'd even taken a day off that day. And so, this happens, and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm such a relief. Now I don't have to feel bad about not going live, right? And so, anyway, I got suspended for 14 days. That's what happened. Again, wow, a 36-year-old man has a health scare. This has never happened before in the history of humanity. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. So anyway, the second part is going to be about why I got suspended. So I got suspended because, and just to add some context, because this has been very.
So 5 minutes was the first part, and I guess is the rest talking about how he wants to murder children?
Editorialized on the on Twitter and everything like this. But basically what I said was that, so Ceuta, which is, and a little bit of geography here. So Spain is like on the top of the Mediterranean Sea. Strait of Gibraltar is like right here, Spain, right?
He was probably watching that huge immigrant video or whatever.
In the very, very tip of Morocco, there's a city that's owned by Spain, and it's been owned by Spain for hundreds of years. This isn't like something that's new. This isn't like a recent occupation. This has been going on for like, since before like the, it's like the Ottoman Empire time days.
Okay,
right?
who cares about this?
I remember reading the date that it happened, but it was like literally hundreds of years ago. So they've had this city, it's called Ceuta, for a long time. City has a population of about 80,000 people. And 40 to 60,000, obviously just by the nature of this, it's not really verified how many, random migrants just all came over in about basically 1 day's time into this small city. Now, this has, in my opinion, like in any other point in history, this would be viewed as a military invasion, because of course the overwhelming majority of these people are military age.
That's hilarious. Dude, Asmongold brain is like so cooked. You see a bunch of fucking poor people washing up on the fucking beach in rags and no clothes, looking for food and water, and they're in need of like help, food and water, and you're just like, this is a military invasion. These are active combatants.
Men. And so what I said is that I think that if you have that many people pouring over your border and you just can't deal with it all, like you can look at the footage of this and it literally looks like it's World War Z. It looks like a battlefield, right? It's like a hell on earth type situation.
Right.
There's
so that's the justification in his brain. Oh my God. So many innocent people are running in this direction. We should just mow them down because they're coming towards our town. So we should just shoot them all. Is that the take? Like, that's still not a great justification.
Everywhere and everything.
Like, what
I'm straight up saying I think you should shoot these people, right? I mean, like, I believe that. I do.
That's
this is.
Why would you even admit to that on the internet? I don't even understand. I mean, he's so rich he can just admit to being a Nazi and it won't matter at this point. But like, why just openly admit and come out? Yeah, I don't just massacre a bunch of innocent civilians. I don't care. And the children, like, what are you talking about?
It's a violent military invasion into a city, and after they got into the city, obviously these people were smashing out windows. They were obviously, breaking into stores, stealing things out of stores. I saw like one video. It's always hard to know like what's real and what's not.
That's hilarious. But these military combatants were thieving and not killing anybody. But you should just shoot him dead still. Great take, Asmongold.
Like,
holy God.
Troy, like, whenever, like, a fucking Brad Pitt as Achilles, like, stabbed the dude in the neck at the beginning of the movie, that's, like, what happened. Like, one of these, like, migrants seemingly stabbed the random citizen in the neck with this, knife, right? And they killed this person, I'm assuming, right? Or at least they're in critical condition. So, basically, the city is being terrorized by a mass invasion of military-aged migrants that have come.
Military-aged migrants. Military age, that's anywhere from 18 to 45.
Come over for, various different reasons. And people were saying that you couldn't do that because, well, there might be kids in the crowd. And my response to that is that you should shoot them anyway. You should do
Like, what the fuck,
anyway.
dude?
And it doesn't matter really what the collateral damage is. You should defend your borders, especially when you're being invaded by such a massive force of people. So this never really was a conversation about like, baseline immigration enforcement. It was never about like, using kids or anything like that.
Oh, it was never about immigration. It's only about the story about this migrant invasion that I was talking about. You should just shoot the kids anyway. Whatever. Come on, guys. Why am I in trouble? I just advocated for like shooting children. Like, who cares? Like, what kind of fucking sick fuck do you have to be to actually admit this online? Like, I can't, like, this is why I stream, because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm cringe. Yeah, I'm pretty bad. I can be grotesque, potty mouth, whatever it is, and obnoxious. But I would never seriously say anything like this. Like, you have to have the lowest of low IQs to sincerely believe something like this.
But the reality is that with a lot of these third world countries and a lot of their cultures in the world, if you use a Western frame of reference to...
I apologize for nothing, and I meant exactly what I said.
...look at the values and the morality of the third world people like this, you're going to render yourself blind. You will not understand their theory of mind. They don't look at things the way that you do. That's why Joseph Kony has his child army, and there
How does Asmongold know what it's like to be an immigrant? You have no idea what it's like. You're just basing your fucking prejudice off of the scary racist propaganda you see on X about immigrants and the third world in general.
That never really went away, by the way. It's still happening. It might not be necessarily him, but there's other ones that are just as bad, if not worse. So the problem is that a lot of Westerners' morality is built off of the concept that everybody else thinks the way that we do, and unfortunately, that's not the reality. And so, what these people will do is that they...
Asmongold. This is literally just the savages argument in 2026. It's just Asmongold saying, oh, these are savages. They don't understand our Western culture, our superior Western civilization. That's what he's fucking literally just saying. It's 2026, bro. Like, how? Oh, God.
They will bring kids with them, and they will use these kids as effectively human shields in order to invade the country and then take advantage of the people in the country. I view this a lot like a trolley problem, and so the reason what I mean by that is that basically you're choosing to stop the invaders here rather than creating a reward structure and an incentive structure around using kids, trafficking children, and effectively using them as political capital to fulfill an invasion's goal, which is to effectively take over this country. We're not take it over, right? But like, invade this city.
This is so insane. I mean, this, like, oh, God, dude. I can't believe that people fucking, like, in the Twitch community associate with this fucking Nazi piece of shit. Like, he's literally just saying, the fucking, reverse white genocide shit. Oh, we're being taken over by migrants, shit like that. Like, fuck, I forget what that conspiracy theory is called, but, like, he believes that shit. Oh my God, dude. This is like, we're only 9 minutes in,
and
dude.
And then use the city as a way to get into mainland Spain and then disperse themselves
just
all over
let my
Europe.
brain absorb
this
for
is,
2 minutes.
A very bad thing, and I think it should be stopped by any means necessary. I think this is a horrible problem. A lot of the people that are coming over there, many of them could be criminals. We have no idea. People said Morocco emptied their prisons and let those people come over. I have no idea if they did that or not. I would assume many cases they did. That's what Russia's done apparently with Ukraine, and so I don't really
anyone
think
can be a criminal.
this has ever happened. There's many precedents for this. A lot of people look at this from the perspective of human rights or something like this, and I find this to be one of the most malignant and pernicious abuses and inversions of morality that we have.
Yeah, it's such a big moral issue, shooting a child in the face. It's so awful when you advocate for shooting a child in the face and someone wants to like morally grandstand.
Have nowadays, and I'll explain why. never once have I ever heard about the human rights or the privileges or, what's the right thing to do for all of the people in this city who are now having to be terrified in their homes, boarding their houses up. You have these migrants banging on their doors, smashing their windows, destroying their businesses, potentially violating
Bro, the
them,
demonization
them, and doing whatever they can to these people.
of immigrants.
Not once in my entire life have I ever heard about the concept of their human rights. I never hear about the people who have been the victims of these policies and this lax enforcement, whose lives have been effectively destroyed, and then for some reason we never think about them. We don't care about them.
This is such a stupid fucking argument, because you could say this about any fucking problem and be like, oh, well, what if, mental health? Well, the victims of mental health, you should have been there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so the solution is what? To just demonize immigrants and shoot them and fucking, like, that's not the solution in my opinion. Like, that's the solution to probably the same mental health crisis, is just shoot them, right? Like, fucking, that's his solution for everything, it seems like. Just shoot them. That seems like the conclusion he comes to
are these invaders
when he doesn't like an argument,
trying to take advantage of the country. And I think this is a profound inversion of morality. I don't think that any country has an obligation to take in migrants. I don't think any country has an obligation to let people invade their borders. And I think that at the capacity that was happening with Cuba, I do think that you should use lethal military force to repel a literal fucking invasion. Keep in mind, this is a city of 80,000 people, and 40 to 60,000 additional people tried to come in.
Like, this is the thing about, like, an Asmongold gold mind, is like, there is no thought in his brain that is like, oh, I have empathy towards poor people. I have empathy towards struggling people trying to, find their way through life, try to, get access to food and money and resources, because they are struggling in the worst parts of the world. No, he sees them as violent criminal invaders, military targets, even children. Like, you are off your rocker.
One day. That's an invasion, and I think they should use guns to stop it. And I'm not sorry for saying that. And it doesn't matter what you try to use as, emotional blackmail or something like that. Fundamentally,
emotional
all of these
blackmail
different tools that these
it's
people
just mostly
use
like being a good person. You just shouldn't advocate for shooting innocent people. I don't know.
Actually be applied in a universal way. These are the same people whose ideology leads them to thinking that 6-year-olds can transition to another gender. They're the ones that lead themselves
we're hitting
to,
all the fucking notes
Hamas
here. Oh, we're hitting all the high notes.
Because terrorists like to use kids as human shields as well,
notes.
because they like to shoot rockets from schools. The reason why they do that is because there is a reward structure inside of our society that puts the damaging and the harm to children and women at a higher standard than the harm to, like, a military-aged man. Now, in a general sense, I would agree with that in a peacetime reality, but whenever these people are launching rockets and large-scale invasions, I think that you need to look at this as a wartime event. And I would ask yourself, how many people got killed in World War II? How many people get killed in every...
What about how about Asmongold? How about the fucking Jews fleeing from Nazi Germany to America in droves? How about those people? Should they just be denied at the border, Asmongold? Should they just be shot and killed, Asmongold? Is it a military invasion? Like,
single war. Civilian casualties
like
and
this
killing anybody who's not a
combatant
so
bad to put on the internet, dude.
But at the same time, it doesn't
I can't imagine it.
have borders.
I can't imagine being this guy.
You can't make decisions to protect your own people, even if it comes at the expense
of
other
like
people
X-brain to the max.
In bad faith and use this. And by the way, the usage of people like this as human shields is a war crime in itself. And that's, I think, the biggest issue that I have with a lot of these people that are criticizing this, is that I don't think that they really care about these kids. They don't give a shit about them. Like, these are the people, they'll bring kids to an ICE protest. Why would you bring a kid to a protest where there's rioting and there's flashbang grenades and tear gas being set off? And the truth is, and there is a reason for it. The reason why they do that is because they want to use these kids and the harm that these kids will inevitably go through because of collateral damage, and they want to use this as a political tool so they can advance their agenda. These people are, they're
yeah, no, conservatives, fascists, they've never done false flag events ever.
They're sick.
They've never done that.
Sick, evil people. And I also referred to the people that use the human shields as animals. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think they're fucking animals. If you use children as human shields in order for you to invade a country or in order for you to do terrorist attacks,
why would you care?
I think that you're a fucking animal.
Why would you care about the child in that circumstance if you're just gonna shoot them both dead anyway? If that's what you're advocating for? You literally just said mow them all down. Why are you pretending to care about the child now? Just because it benefits you in this certain situation? It's so stupid. I honestly think
that most people agree with me. I think that almost everybody does. But unfortunately, we've had this inversion of morality where these truly evil, malignant, pernicious people have been allowed to use this fake moral authority that they have to dictate that we have to allow terrorism, violence, and complete societal collapse. And if we don't allow this, somehow we're the ones that are evil.
I like how it's like, you know, trying to uphold some sort of international human rights is somehow like a moral grandstanding woke issue for Asmongold.
I reject this completely. And I understand that in doing so, there might be some people...
Is shooting kids wrong? No, says Asmongold.
It's not a very polite thing to say. This isn't something that you'd read on a bumper sticker. But I think this is the nature of the world, and it's the nature of the reality that we live in. And I don't want to use a bunch of euphemisms and other types of vague and pacified language to discuss this in a way that is not authentic to its true harm and its true existence, which is what I think that's what it is. And I think that there are definitely criticisms people have of me that are valid, where like I probably do dial it up a little bit too much, and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc. But I want to let you know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said, and I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people.
He just rambles about this for another 10 minutes.
For all the people that live in that country, and I don't think that a government has an obligation to allow a bunch of invaders to pour over and potentially kill their own citizens. I find this to just be horrible, and ultimately it should be stopped.
What is this, by the way? Like, what the fuck is this?
I'll give another parallel to this as well.
The top over his thing here? I don't understand
what they do, and this is, of course, nothing like this is a monolith.
In the top left, that anime face? I don't want to know what he looks at with that anime face.
They'll use children to commit crimes because they know the children will not be sentenced in the same way that an adult will do. And what my biggest argument for all of this is
terrorists. That's why you shoot the children, because they're child terrorists, obviously. God, I'm so glad that Asmongold is here to be this smart for everybody.
I generally, and I know people might not believe this, I think most people do believe this, but the people that don't like me don't believe this, or they don't want to, is that I think that I really do have the most moral and ethical position on this. Because the moment that you create an incentive...
How is shooting a child in the face and mowing down a family of innocents the moral position?
Also drive a behavior. And in my opinion, if you don't capitulate to this emotional blackmail, you also don't allow yourself, these people to target and victimize these children by using them as baggage and effectively shock troopers in order to accomplish a goal. So, for example, if these kids are being charged as adults, the entire tool that these people were using, these gangs were using of having children commit crimes on their behalf, this tool would effectively be rendered ineffective. But we don't want to do that because it makes people sad to put kids in jail. But from my perspective, the way that I see it is that it makes me sad to see kids that were abused, that are trafficked, and that are put into these situations because the people that are truly and profoundly evil, but I think that in order to do that, you do that in the goal to preserve a culture that is the best place that you want to live in the world as well. So
preserve your culture, your white nationalist culture. Dude, this is an insane video. This is like Nazi ramblings for 23 minutes. Like, 5 minutes was about his ass bleeding, and then the other 19 minutes is about him just being like, yeah, I want to shoot immigrant children in the face and mow down their whole family of innocents. I don't care. International law is woke and gay.
That's the problem that I have.
Moral grandstanding.
I don't think that I've said anything wrong. I think that a lot of people actually would agree with me, and I think that the way that we've taken military action in the past, things like, for example,
this has to be like rage bait,
would
right?
indicate that actually this is not as much an objective reality that some people would make it out to be. And again, these are the same people that have no problem using children as props and having them, you know, like groomed by adults, you know, about their gender, taking them to ICE protests, putting them directly in danger.
Hey, we already talked about this.
I said it in a very abrasive way, and I'm going to continue communicating that way.
Right,
That's how I was
right.
raised. The reality is that, you know, I was driving my dad to the hospital. He was like getting one of his cancer treatments. Communicate in a way that's illustrable truths with a lot more of a clear mind, rather than allowing it to be polluted by people that I think want to hurt us.
Yes. People who want to silence him from being a complete Nazi.
Put us in a position that is not advantageous. And that's the reason why I communicate the way that I do. It is hopefully to normalize this type of language.
He doesn't want to minimalize his Nazi rhetoric. You know, just, he would be sacrificing himself, chat. He would be sacrificing part of himself if he just, you know, didn't advocate for the most Nazi shit I've ever heard of.
And for people to see things for what they are rather than what they want them to be. And I think that's for better and for worse. So that's the reason why I talk the way that I do. I'm not sorry. It's probably not going to have to. It's probably not going to stop. I might try to. I'm going to try to obviously tone it down a little bit because I don't want to get
getting to him, Chad.
You know, contrary to popular belief, it's great to have a vacation, but I don't want to have them all the time. And so, you know, that's pretty much where things stand.
Take a vacation and get some mental health. Go to a therapist. Anything. Get help, dude. Like, seriously, that's my reasoning. That's my opinion. Get help, dude.
And I think it enables human trafficking the moment that you capitulate to that type of emotional blackmail. So that's really the way that I feel. And I know this might be a harsh opinion. It might not be something that everybody agrees with, but I think it is the ethically correct thing to do, given the you know, the implications of doing otherwise. So anyway,
this is like if Asmongold was born in the 1920s. And he was there for he would be fucking Hitler's fucking first in command, dude. This is literally, I've never heard a more proud Nazi in my life.
Now, what's going to happen now? At least I'll probably file an appeal in a day or so.
In the Twitch world.
I can get unsuspended earlier.
In 2026.
I don't really know. I'll probably, I can try to, like, I wish I could just talk to them. It's really funny. So, like, Twitch emails me, and they say, like, I actually don't even know this is why I got banned. Twitch has never communicated. And it's like, oh my god, this is, you know, like, am I dying, right? Is this happening?
Well,
and so that
kind of
like 10 hours yesterday.
Wish your ass was bleeding a little more, Asmongold, after this video, TBH.
Yesterday, so I'm in kind of good mood right now. And so, yeah, anyway, that's pretty much
hashtag sorry, not sorry, I guess. Asmongold 2026.
I'll be back, and yeah, see you next time. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching and sticking around this long. Sorry it's such a long video. There's a lot to talk about and a lot that's happened. So yeah, that's the way I feel. That's where I'm at. That's what's going on. And I'll see you guys very soon. So until next time, boys. Peace. See ya.
All right. Well, that was wow. That was something. Anyway, that might be it for the React segment. Maybe we're gonna take a hydration break. I'm gonna try to set up my wireless controller and we'll get into some gaming.